Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Jade Dragon podcast, where we dive deep into the intersection of Chinese philosophy, Qigong, and modern science. I'm your host, David Lloyd, and today we're going to explore one of the most fundamental and inspiring aspects of following the way, the art of living in harmony. For thousands of years, ancient sages have contemplated the nature of life, offering profound insights into how we can align ourselves with the flow of the universe, or what they call the Tao, or the way. But what does it really mean to live in harmony according to Taoist thought? How can we apply these ancient principles to our modern, fast-paced lives? That's what we'll be unpacking today. So, let's start by understanding the concept of the Tao. In its simplest form, the Tao translates to the way, the natural, ever-present flow of life that permeates all things. It's not something you can grasp or control, but something to be attuned to. The classic text, the Tao Te Ching, expresses this beautifully when it states, "The way that can be spoken is not the eternal way. The name that can be named is not the eternal name." It's a recognition that the universe's natural order is beyond the limits of language, beyond human understanding. We are part of this greater flow, and the key to living in harmony is to embrace that truth rather than fight against it. So, what does living in harmony really mean? When following the way, it's often illustrated through the principle of wu-wei, which means non-action or effortless action. Now, this doesn't mean doing nothing or being passive. It's about acting in alignment with the Tao, moving with the natural currents of life rather than forcing your will upon them. Think of it like this. Imagine you're in a river. If you swim against the current, you exhaust yourself and make little progress. But if you go with the flow, you conserve energy and move with ease. Wu-wei is the art of following life's natural rhythms. It teaches us to let go of control and trust in the natural course of things. This has profound implications for how we live day to day. Too often, we're caught up in the stresses and anxieties of trying to control every aspect of our lives. We push, we struggle, we resist. But what if instead we learn to trust the process, to observe the patterns of life and move in harmony with them? Take nature as a model. The trees grow without forcing themselves. The rivers flow without trying to carve their path. And the seasons change without struggle. This is what following the way teaches us, that when we live in harmony with the natural flow, life becomes more effortless, more peaceful. Another central concept in following the Tao is naturalness or spontaneity. To live in harmony with the Tao is to cultivate this state of being, free from artificial constraints and in tune with our true nature. When following the Tao, naturalness is about shedding the layers of conditioning, societal expectations, and ego-driven desires that distance us from our authentic selves. It's a return to simplicity, a state where we can act freely without the interference of external pressures. But how do we practice this in our daily lives? One way is by embracing the practice of stillness. In following the Tao, Jing, or stillness, is key to cultivating harmony. It's not just physical stillness, but also mental and emotional quietness. When we quiet the mind and still the heart, we can begin to perceive the subtle flow of the Tao within us. Meditation, mindfulness, and Qigong are excellent ways to connect with this inner stillness, which helps us act from a place of clarity and alignment rather than from chaotic or reactive emotions. Another essential aspect of living in harmony is embracing the balance of yin and yang. These complementary forces are present in everything. Yin represents stillness, receptivity, and the moon, while yang represents movement, activity, and the sun. To live in harmony, we must recognize and honor both energies in ourselves and in the world around us. We often fall into the trap of focusing too much on the yang aspects of life, always doing, always striving for more. But following the Tao reminds us that rest, contemplation, and receptivity are just as important. It's in these moments of stillness that true wisdom arises. By balancing the yin and yang within us, we cultivate a life that flows naturally without extremes. Now let's talk about how we can apply these principles of following the Tao and living in harmony in practical ways. First, listen to the flow of life. Whether through meditation, observing nature, or just taking moments of quiet throughout your day, find time to connect with the deeper rhythms around you. This could be as simple as noticing the change in seasons, the way the wind moves, or how your breath rises and falls. Second, embrace simplicity. The wayfaring sage seeks to live with fewer distractions and less clutter, both mentally and physically. Simplifying your life doesn't mean giving up on modernity, but it does mean cutting away the unnecessary and focusing on what truly matters. Finally, trust the process. Life has a natural intelligence that we often overlook in our rush to achieve or control outcomes. By trusting in this process, we allow things to unfold as they should, reducing stress and opening ourselves to unexpected opportunities. In the end, living in harmony according to following the Tao is about returning to a state of ease, finding the rhythm in every situation and moving with it rather than against it. It's a practice of letting go, cultivating stillness, and trusting in the flow of life. So, as you go about your day today, ask yourself, how can I live in greater harmony with the world around me? What can I let go of? Where can I move with the current instead of against it? That's all for today's episode of the Jade Dragon podcast. I hope you found these insights into following the Tao and living in harmony helpful as you continue your journey toward having a balanced, peaceful life. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. You can also follow Jade Dragon Qigong on social media for more updates on following the Tao, Qigong, and Chinese medicine. Until next time, may you move with the flow of life and live in harmony with the Tao.